Hello and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the Algebra 1 concept of adding and subtracting polynomials. This is standard A.10A in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 2 of the 2016 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. So what are polynomials? Obviously we've got something like that up here, but it's helpful for us to know that a polynomial is an expression that includes multiple things, including constants. So we see that 9 up there is a constant, we see that 3 up there is a constant. Variables, right? So I see x's, just x's, and then also exponents. So we do have x squared in there. And so when we are adding and subtracting this, it's really important to look for like terms. And so what terms do I see here? I see an x squared. I see another x squared. So I see x squareds. I see x's right there. And then I see just constants. Okay, so I'm going to circle those. So I'm just going to put a number right there. So I've got 3 different sets of terms, and I can only combine the x squareds with other x squareds. I can only combine the x's with other x's and the numbers with other numbers. It's like apples and oranges and bananas. They're 3 totally separate fruit, and you can't necessarily combine them when you're counting them. So let's start with our largest, right? So our x squared, that's going to be our exponent of 2. And so what do we have here? I've got a 2x squared. And then you notice that I've got this parentheses right here. But it's not really doing anything because it's got a positive on the outside. If it had a negative on the outside, we would flip all of that. But I'm going to put just put a box around what I'm grabbing out of here. I'm putting a 2x squared and a minus 6x squared. Okay, so I've boxed both of those. Minus 6x squared. Now, what's next? My x's. Okay, so I've got a plus 4x. And then I've got a minus. Now you know how we got a minus on the outside. So it is a positive 6x, but since it's got a negative on the outside, we're going to make that a negative 6x. All right? And then I just have my constants left. I've got a positive 9. Now I've got that positive 3, but remember I've got that minus on the outside. So really it's a minus 3. Okay? So it's 9 minus 3. That's the only trick, so to speak, with dealing with adding and subtracting polynomials, is they'll put parentheses around 2 or 3 terms and then put a minus on the outside of that, and then you've got to flip the sign for everything. So these are my 3 terms that I'm dealing with, okay? So I've got 2x squared minus 6x squared. Well, just think, what's 2 minus 6, right? It's going to equal just an x squared. You're not going to be able to simplify that x squared, but you can say I've got 2x squareds minus 6x squareds. That's going to give me a negative 4x squared. Now, I've got 4x minus 6x. Okay, so I've got 4x's minus 6x's. That's going to get me a minus 2x. Then 9 minus 3, that's just 6. So really, once we get our like terms, we're just dealing with the coefficients. That's all I'm messing with, are the coefficients. So I put that all together. I've got a minus 4x squared, a minus 2x, and then that's going to end up being a positive 6. And so you see f is really close, but they've got that positive 12, right, because they didn't take that minus and change that 3 from a positive to a negative. And so our answer here is G.